oomph, or just maybe understanding what would that process look like. So thank you very much again for joining us. Please put on the chat where you're joining us from. I haven't seen anything yet, and I'm hoping to see some comments that I can read out. And once again, as you're coming in, thank you very much for joining us for this webinar entitled Personal Branding, Repositioning Yourself. And shortly, I will be introducing our key speaker for today, and that is none other than Mary Mukindia. I think we can start. We have a good number of people, 57. It's just that I did not want everyone to miss out on anything that you said. The chat group is coming. We have Robert Langat joining us from Nairobi. We have Sang Stephen Gedenji all the way from Arusha. We have Judy Njeri from Nairobi. We have Dorina Kilama joining us from Dar es Salaam. We have David Washira joining us from Nairobi. We have Oliver Angina joining us from Nairobi. We have Sarah Kiprono from Nairobi, the city in the smile of the sun. Lynn Baraza, Kiambu County, Nelias from Nairobi, Helen from Addis. Yeah, we have Grace from Dar es Salaam, that is Imelda as well. Sarah from Nyeri, a very cold Nyeri. Yeah, even me wouldn't want to be Nyeri right now. Mary is from Nanyuki. We have Derby from Nairobi. We have a few people from Nairobi. We have Dorothy from Kericho. And so I think it's a mix of guys from Dar es Salaam and guys from Nairobi, and of course, a few from Kericho, Dar es Salaam. I wonder if Kericho is cold. I know for sure Nyeri is cold, but Kericho, I'm not very sure. So again, thank you everyone for joining us for this evening's webinar, and thank you, Dorothy, for confirming that it's very cold, T-zone area. Without further ado, I would like us to actually start on our session for tonight and have a discussion around what we actually I'm trying to look for the CV, and I think I've lost it. Great. So thank you for joining us today for this webinar, which we have shared on all our socials, if I may say so. And it is really in response to a course that Mary has authored and that we are rolling out at Profiles International about executive reposition. I must admit that one of the passions that Mary has is around how do people reposition themselves? How do they speak narratives around themselves and rebrand themselves so that they can take advantage of what's out there in terms of growing your career. So I will not steal the thunder away from her by starting to tell you more about what this webinar is about, but allow me to introduce you to Mary, who is an expert in organizational development, a business and associate consultant. She likes saying that she brings clarity to big ideas. And I must say, as one of her mentees, she definitely does help you think through and bring clarity to whatever big idea that you have. She's also a mindset coach, helping you look at things from different perspectives, from different lenses. She's part of the Profiles Journal's emotional intelligence practitioner, and actually very passionate about what EI has to do and plays as a role in development of leadership. She trains, she facilitates. She facilitated my personal branding in terms of LinkedIn, so quite the expert there. And I'm sure if you go to her LinkedIn account, you will see why. And she is a motivational speaker, more of the practical types. And when she speaks so happily with such a big smile. It's always a pleasure to listen to her every single now and then. So I never get tired. So with that, possibly we could put the emoji claps that are available for you on React. There's a button down there. And let us give a very strong welcome to Mary Mukindia, who can take it over from here. Mary, over to you.
Vicky, you made me smile. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to be here. But from very cold Nyanyuki, I relocated from Nairobi last August, and I'm in Nyanyuki, which is beautiful and quiet, but can be very cold, particularly at this time of year. I have wrapped on a fleece. Sometimes I have a hot water bottle, but I really enjoy supporting men and women really transition and reposition their career. I believe that all of us have a tremendous creative spirit within us to create anything we want. When you look at man, he's so small and he builds these huge machines over thousands of kilograms to be in the air as an aeroplane, and it doesn't fall down. If you look at man who's so small, builds buildings with 100 floors and does things like the fax machine, which continues to fascinate me, how you can send a paper on a machine and it comes out in China. Same handwriting, everything specific. Man is, according to our maker, absolutely creative. And I think that all of us have got that creative ability about us. But how can we use it to maximize our impact, our legacy, as well as financial autonomy? Because that's what matters for us and our families. And through the years, I have, been through my career, started out in the oil industry, 17 years, then went out and formed the Petroleum Institute as a founder GM, stopped that when the Gbagbo government came in, went to National Oil to run as a CEO, then was called in to join United Nations UNEP as international staff, did that for 5 years, then went to be generally a board member, director, business consultant. And then I really got interested that I repositioned myself. For many years, I was a high-level expatriate, local, top corporate, with a credit card and the car. And I haven't had a car for over the last 10 years. And what was important to me were things like credit card and a beautiful car, BMW, and making it in the world. But I found things that were more, mattered more to me as success signals. And I repositioned myself from being the corporate executive to really working within industry as somebody who's progressing the industry to a new narrative about the oil industry and the association that we formed. But then I was a turnaround CEO in National Oil, and then I became a government person, and I really started seeing what public policy really is about. And it's an eye-opener. It's beautiful working with government, just seeing how public policy works and how you get public participation. Then I went to UNEP, which was completely another kind of mystery. You get your own coffee, you do your own thing, but again, you're working at a global level. And after that, I became a consultant where people call and ask you, Mary, from where? You can't say Exxon, you can't say Petroleum, you can't say NOC, you can't say UNEP. Is Mary from nowhere? And many of you who are consultants who have left your jobs, you know that feeling, because everybody wants to connect you with somewhere. Your worth is measured with the position or job that you do, which is not you. You are much more than these things. So I started looking for something that I could do. A friend of mine actually authored this book in terms of writing a CV, and her name is Jean Gethenji, and she helped me. She was helping a lot of senior people when they were reviewing judges for reconfirmation, when they were reviewing ambassadors. And she started writing this book about how to help people write a CV as a marketing document that really repositions you and sells who you are, and you have a value proposition, you have an elevator pitch, and it uses action words to be able to bring yourself to the point where it's a smart CV that talks to the algorithm of what is going on today. And this book, which is under my other label, Full Circle, is what I've used to expand the program, where we really work at your value proposition, we work at your LinkedIn, we work at finding out who you truly are, what is your purpose. And I tend to joke with people, but I'm really joking in a sense that I say, I really love the 40 and over, because at some times in your life, you really want to redefine yourself. You find you've had a career 10, 15 years. You've gotten the accolades. Everybody you're thinking, you're wonderful, but there's something deep within you that keeps saying, there's something more I can do. I feel there's more potential. I feel I can do more. I can be more. Would you then leave this safe job that gives you so many benefits, including your financial independence? And how do you take the courageous step to reposition yourself? Look at me, I'm 67. I've repositioned myself several times. When I left UNEP and started doing work as a business consultant, as a board member, I went back to school. I learned coaching. A friend of mine, Sam Wateme, directed me to coaching. I thought I could just say I'm a coach. After 34 years, really, who needed to teach me about coaching? I thought I'd done it all my life. He told me, no, get the proper certification. Go and get certified. So I went to CDI Africa and I certified as an international coaching federation, ICF professional coach, and I love it. I love coaching. It's opened a whole new vista for me. Then I met Vicky, 2019 or just before. I heard about emotional intelligence, and that really fascinated me on how you can connect with people, how you can become a really effective leader, and even family member and a friend, just by understanding what is emotional intelligence. The World Economic Forum has put emotional intelligence one of the top 5 skills year after year, except for 2025, where actually in any of the top 10 skills, almost 7 of them or 6 of them, there's an element of emotional intelligence. So I certified as an emotional intelligence practitioner. And last year, I certified also as a team effectiveness behavior trainer. So you can reposition yourself. Look at me. I was an oil industry expert, but now I've completely left oil. I don't even like oil. I don't want to hear about oil. I now just love helping people get clarity on their big ideas and position themselves to what they want. So that's a little bit about me. Today, what I would like us to do, and thank you all for joining. I see we have 96 people on this webinar, and I'm told there are others on Facebook. So I don't want to have, slides and PowerPoints to use. What I do want you to know that there's a little book, and I'd written it 2 years ago. And then I thought, let me e-publish it. And believe me, it's been so fascinating going to lulu.com, learning how to publish. Some of the fonts are off, some of the chapters don't start right, and I'm doing an update. But this little book that I wrote, I'm giving it to you free to really see the 7 reasons why you don't have the career you desire and how to fix it. And this is really what this course is about. How do you reposition yourself and bring the best of yourself and ethically promote yourself and market yourself ethically and in a way that you feel comfortable to do that? Because we really go into the detail of the companies, you do your own due diligence and where you want to be and why you want to be there and the kind of positions that suit you and why them. And you really introspect into who you are. So today what we'll have is mainly a Q&A session, because I want to hear from you. I want you to fire those questions about me and why you think you haven't moved up. And is it courage? Is it fear? Is it you fear to sort of put your head up a little bit and say, here I am, these are my, what I call superpowers. What are your competencies and your strengths? So we will do that shortly, but just let me tell you about the course. As I said, it's called Executive Repositioning Program. And the course objective is to allow you to shift to the next level of leadership, whether it's a regional body, international body, another company, another industry that you feel now you can really make use of your talents. And the key benefits is that you will be able to have a fantastic professional high-level CV. You'll have an elevator pitch. You'll have your value proposition. You will have what are the competencies that really market you and what you should be saying. It will have the narrative for you to go into a competency interview and be able to articulate what you have. And it will also have, you'll be able to end up with a LinkedIn profile that's high level. You'll also network with a lot of people similar to you. The networks is how you get to know what opportunities are there and how you can use them. And we're talking here always about your professional self and branding and selling your professional self. So that's about it. The course structure, I've been running this course before COVID. I was running it physically with about 8 people. I prefer small groups, 8, maximum 10, but I loved 8 because then we could really be personal. I'd bring in an expert on LinkedIn, but then I got to be pretty good at it. So we would run it 2-3 days in a hotel, then we would follow up one-on-one sessions to make it clean and make it good. But when COVID came, I had to reposition myself and say, okay, how do we do this? So I spent maybe a year, 9 months without running it. And then I started running it in small cohorts, 5, ideal 4, but I would have 5 people and would be online. And I actually love online now because I can say, share your screen. Let me share mine. Touch here. You see what I'm doing. Click here. Go to LinkedIn. You see where I'm clicking. Click. Let's go through privacy settings. What do you want people to know? What don't you want people to know? Let's go through your words and really clean it up and work together. So I've really enjoyed doing it on LinkedIn, but I'm not able to spread it as far wide as I would because so many people call me and say, Mary, work with me. But it's hard. I've had of late individuals, very senior level CEOs who want to work one-on-one. And I do charge. I mean, I charge 200K plus, but it's very tiring when it's me doing it one-on-one. So what I prefer to do, and I just love that Vicky came at the right time. She's launched the Profiles Academy, which is hosted by Wiley, the world's global leading digital learning platform that's been there for the last 230 years. I teach on that course actually for United UN organization. It's a fantastic course platform, which is where you'll be. You click in and I track how you're doing it every day. Have you been on? Have you logged on? How many points did you answer this question? So I sort of am there looking at you and seeing how you're progressing. But the good thing is you work at your own pace. The course will take anything between 8 weeks to 12 weeks, maybe even 14, depending if you're busy, if you're traveling. But I will be having live sessions every so often. I think right now it's every week or 10 days, we will check. And this is a pilot. So I will want you to be patient with us. We're going to learn from you. And that's where actually the cost is so reasonable at 30K, given Vicky was shocked because what I charge for the group sessions, I'll be frank with you, is close to 150, actually it's a little bit over, and the individual is 200K. But I thought, given the numbers, let people go through digitally and do it themselves. Then let's have the live sessions where you throw questions at me. So it doesn't matter if you start today or you start next week or you started a month ago. You are your own classroom. It's your pace. And I'm there to answer questions on either it's the first lesson, the last lesson, and we're spending 90 minutes together. So I'm able to answer everybody. You're able to hear somebody's answer and say, oh, that gave me the answer to what I wanted. So it's very relaxed. This is the way digital learning is. I've been doing this for since late 2021 for, as I said, an international organization. I'm now about to start my 7th cohort, 7 and 8. They're running them together. So I have been training international people for quite a while on the platform, and I think I've got a little bit of experience. I think I'm a little bit of a hard taskmaster. I'm told I drive people hard. I ask them hard questions, but I have your best interests at heart. And I will be gentle with you, but I will ask you to face some of the things yourself. So we do help you write your CV. Of course, you have a CV that you have, but I have a template. There's a structure I follow, and it's a proven method. So enrollment, the key date is 1st of August. We kick off 1st of August. And I would like you to join me and be there. There's a technical support group. There's assignments, but like I said, it's the first one. You will have assignments to do. Like I said, if you have not downloaded my book, 7 Reasons You Don't Have the Career You Deserve, How to Fix It, please download it. Give me a little grace. It's not the best, but I even got an ISBN number, and I'm actually working at bettering it. I've got something that's 2/3 through, so I will clean it up and update it. And just keep an eye on the Profiles Academy. There's a lot coming in that is Africa-based, experienced African leaders, contextual, and speaks to you. It's not made from Europe. It's not made from the US. It's not made from Asia. It's people who understand where you're coming from. I think at this stage, I will invite questions if there are any, but it is a step-by-step guide, and I've told you the important date. Yes, the sessions are live, but they are recorded. So if you miss a live session, you can go back. There is a dedicated support team that can help you. There is a certificate on completion, which comes from Profiles International. I'm one of their faculty, so they handle all that behind there. Yes, you will interact with the other participants in the discussion forums, any group activities, and of course, there'll be networking opportunities for that. The cost of the course, please go to the website. It's all written there. And Vicky, I think I can, maybe you moderate the questions if I don't see them all, but I'm happy to do anything else.
I was going to ask you to just give us a short synopsis or summary of what are these 7 reasons, because I'm sure everyone is I know they want to read them, but in your own abridged version, what are they? The 7 reasons you don't have the career you desire. That's the reason, not even how to fix it yet.
Okay. I think that the most important reason is that, and I, by the way, this is something I am guilty of. Reason number one is you do not have clarity on what you want. And if I train a lot of people, women, men, 40, 50, and even if you'd ask me even now sometimes, Mary, what do you want? Paint me a picture of what exactly you want. Where do you want to be in 2 years' time in regard to this issue or that issue? Many of us can't really articulate it. You know, we start coming up with a hodgepodge of things. So I want this, but I want this. So being crystal clear on exactly what you want in terms of your career. And because if you fail to clearly articulate and position yourself and promote yourself as a best candidate to that position, then you're actually undermining yourself by being not clear. So that's the first one I would say, and I've seen it many times. The second reason, and is our Kenyanness, or sometimes it's a womenness that we've been brought up, you know, empty debes make the best, make a lot of noise. You're not supposed to show off. It's not godly, or it's not, you know, you shouldn't show off. Most people, reason two, you're not focused on showcasing your winning value proposition. We somehow feel, you know, we find it difficult to say, this is what I'm good at. I'm very good at ABC. I now say that I tell people I'm very good at talking. People pay me money to come and motivate their staff. I enjoy it. I have a lot of energy. I'm very good at coaching. I help people turn around their life. I'm a mindset coach. I'm very good at it. I'm a great organizer, but don't tell me the details. There has to be somebody to help me with the detail. We have to be able to say, I am good at X, Y, Z. So you've got to know, what is your winning proposition? What are you bringing on the table? And that's important. And reason number three is you don't have a methodology around presenting a CV that stands out. Many of us, when a job comes up, we look at the job, you keep sending the same CV, They say, I say, you must have what you call your basic CV, your foundation CV, with all your skills, with all your competencies. But listen, when somebody advertises for a job, those are the TORs. Those are the terms of reference. So you look at those terms of reference and you change your CV to fit those terms of reference. And believe me, it is not, people say, oh, that's cheating. It is not cheating, because you have so many skills, so many competencies, and you can demonstrate the competencies they ask for just by looking at your achievements. Because to make an achievement, you know, you have, let's say, I turned around this corporation. You needed very many competencies. You needed communication, you needed collaboration, you needed partnership building, you needed analysis, analytical the reasoning, you needed business alignment. So how you dress up your competencies depends on what people are looking for, because to achieve those accomplishments does mean you looking at what they look for. So if you keep on sending the same CV, you're not getting any whatever. Then people say, we asked for an apple, you're sending us a CV on pineapple. Address what is requested on that document. Check everything they've asked. Even the letter, you write it here to that. So have a methodology about presenting your CV in a way that stands out. And those TORs will show it, but of course we will do the base one. There's a methodology to it, and you will learn the methodology. Reason 4 that I have found often, you're not leading with your accomplishments. I know people think that qualifications, accreditations are the most important element to attract organizations and acquire new positions. Let me tell you, I don't even have a master's. I could not get my last job as a CEO of National Oil because I don't have a master's. After I left, the government says you have a master's. Luckily, there's the UN. They look at your experience and they give notches for every year, so many years. And so I had the qualification to go at a senior leadership position. But most of us think I need to get a master's. I need to get an MBA. I need to get, I don't know, something. You don't. Your accomplishments, what you've actually done is what many organizations are looking for. Feet on the ground, university of life. Okay? Today, let me tell you the truth. No one cares about your qualifications or your university MBA. Companies like IBM, Google, Apple, they don't want university degrees anymore. They want skill. They're looking for skill. So if not having something is causing you discomfort, come, let us see how we can rework your experience and allow you to present it in a way that makes sense and sells itself to a potential place that you want to be. Reason number 5. Oh, many of us do this. Reason number 5, you don't ask. You don't ask. If you want to attract high quality clients, like for me, I had a trouble even putting a charge on my services. Now I know I must charge high quality prices. I value myself, what I am. Let me ask for what I want. I want that senior job, this level. Astonish yourself. Get a bit scared by what you're asking for. You never know. The worst is you don't get it. So there's something about really asking for what you think you deserve. The worst that can happen is no. The sixth reason, and I see this quite a lot when I'm working with people for their LinkedIn, and I ask them, tell me your superpowers. Tell me what you can say. I'm an expert. I'm a specialist. Say, oh no, I don't know, that's claiming too much. Who says, who has a book of authority and the law about who is a specialist and who's an expert? So reason 6 is that you are not positioning yourself as an authority in your field. Let me tell you, there's a book called 10,000 Hours. It says you become an expert if you've done something for 10,000 hours. And that's about 10 years. If you worked in an industry for 10 years, you're an expert in that industry at what you do. So why aren't you calling yourself and positioning yourself as somebody who can be trusted, who has expertise in what you do? Put yourself an authority, start writing LinkedIn articles, share your knowledge. Dominate one social media. I love LinkedIn. Start talking about it. Share what you have. You'll be surprised that Facebook has what? 2.6 long time ago, maybe today they have 2.8. The last time I looked at it, 2.8 billion. Do you know what percentage of people write content on Facebook? Please put it in the chat. Let me see. I want you to guess the percentage. Vicky, are they guessing the percentage? Put the percentage.
We have a few questions. Let me see. We have to give it at least a few seconds so that guys get into their chat and give the percentage. I don't know. I would guess maybe what, 15-20%? Oh, we have 15-20%.
Not
we have
close.
3%. We have
Redemptor,
said
not
1%.
Kami, not close.
1.
Aha, Caroline Karanja, you've talked to me before. 1%. 1. That's why Facebook has got all this crazy content. You're like, what's all this rubbish? People are writing this and that. Because the people truly with the knowledge do not try. They do not put their light on they are hiding their light in a bushel. Instead of putting it on the table and let it shine. 99% of us are like, share. We're consumers. If you want to position yourself as a thought leader, start writing on what you know, what you have experience about. Share your information. Let others comment. Now let me go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn has got 800 million people, 50 million companies. All professionals. 4 out of 5 people on LinkedIn are decision makers. I'd like you to guess what percentage of people on LinkedIn write content. Could you put that in the chat for me? LinkedIn, what percentage of people share content?
There's 10%, 50%, 10%, 11%, 20%, 12%. Okay, there's 2% now and 3%.
No.
Okay, what is it?
0.14%.
Oh my goodness. That is so little. That's not even 1%.
Yeah, and Sheme, you write on LinkedIn, but you get no engagement. Absolutely, because you don't understand the methodology to getting engagement. This platform can do anything you want, but you have to learn it. You have to study it. You have to be fully intentional of what you want to have. I want to have engagement. Okay. How do you get engagement? Go to the analytics. Who's listening to me? Who's writing? Who's viewing? You can have 19,000 views and only 7 comments and 2 reposts. But those 17,000 are reading. Who are they? Which companies are they? How big are the companies? What titles do those people have? And where are they located? And then am I really talking to the people that I would like to talk to? So you will read all this and more interesting things that I like sometimes sharing with people, because I have this passion, as you can see, this energy of really connecting with people and wanting them to do better, because I really believe all of us have got this enormous, wonderful creativity in us to be able to achieve all of our impact for ourselves, our families, for legacy, autonomy, and financial autonomy. So let me leave it now for Q&A. You have 28 minutes. It should have been half an hour, but I've talked a fair bit. ask questions, and then we can see how many of you will register. Like I said, it's a pilot. You will be the guinea pigs, and the wonderful thing to see what will happen next. We'll broaden it, reduce it, and do others as we move. But there's a lot more to come. This is the first one I'd like. And may I just say, there's somebody I saw here, and I just felt love because she has tried to get hold of me so many times, and I'm such a scatterbrain. I think I'm going to call. Engineer, I see you. You know who you are. I won't say your name. You always support. It's just wonderful to see you here. And thank you.
We have a question from someone in the audience, Helen. She says, please share your thoughts on career evolution, e.g. like you were in oil, but many years later you're pursuing a different point. At which, a different field, at which point do you realize it's time to shift, and how do you then transit?
When you join the course, there's a lovely little video. I love TikToks, by the way, and little video shorts from YouTube. There's a lady who's got a very short, and she talks about a vocation, a job, a career, and a hobby. And she talks about what's the difference between this. And I'll leave that to you. Let me tell you, all of us go to university and we learn something. You probably didn't even know what you were learning. You just looked at your friend. What are you putting? Oh, commerce. You're putting what? Oh, medicine. So you just put things you didn't know. You were in sixth form or form 4, I don't know. And you just put a degree or something to do. And then you and you left. And someone told you, you need to get a career, a job, so that you can pay bills. My father told me, this is my house. This is my car. This is my roof. So I knew I had to get a job quickly. So I didn't know which job to get. Anyway, my days was the early 80s. We used to get 3 jobs. So I got Agriculture Finance Corporation. I got University of Nairobi as assistant registrar, and I got Exxon. So I asked people, which one is nicer, better? I didn't think. I was a young kid. So I joined Exxon, and I didn't leave because I'm one of these faithful heart servants. My father really emphasized work hard, and honesty. Those are the 2 things I remember from my father. So I just found myself working hard and being in this career, but I was never intentional. Why am I working hard? What is my intention with this career? Where do I want to take it? I have no intention. I never built a nest egg. I never said I want to have financial independence. I didn't say, oh, I want to be in London or Europe and be the vice president. I just had, and I was promoted. Thoughts of, why am I here? How long will I be here? And sometimes people are actually quite more thoughtful, but even now people are just doing a job. So I would say that you have to really distinguish, is your job a job, which is the only thing you need to have? You must pay bills, so you need a job. Or is it a professional career you love and you give some sacrifice for it? Or is it a vocation that honestly, this is my true self, I found my vocation? And sometimes vocation doesn't pay. So you have to have a job until the vocation increases and can pay you money, and then you reduce your job. So I think it's being very intentional of why. You can shift. Anybody will give you joy. Anybody will give you a feeling of satisfaction. I've worked in NGO for industry. I've worked in Exxon, profit making, real profit making. I've worked with UN. I've worked at National Oil, public government. They're all the same jobs. I'm accomplishing a goal that I enjoyed doing. So it's not a question of, it's a question of saying what fulfills me and what do I want with my life and my career. I think that's the only answer I would give you, but I'm not the authority. It's always my view. Go ahead, Vicky, next question.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to add about that thing for transitions, because I think I spoke about transitions one time, and transitions take a long time. And I think sometimes you think that it will take about a year. Transitions don't take a year. I think transitions take about 5 years for them to fully effect, 5 to 10 years. So if you're thinking of transiting, sometimes the thought that you're transiting tomorrow could hinder you from transiting. But the process of that transition is going to be a long time. So if you look at it that way, it's easy to go on that journey, because then the transition itself will let you know when it's time to shift and move to something else. That's what I'd like to say about transitions.
No, thank you for that. Absolutely. I mean, there's never anything cut and dried. And remember, it's also very contextual on your situation, on your family life, on your makeup as a person, on your character. Some people have that courage to move out and change different things, but that depends on their career anchor. Some people love challenge. They work at a job 2-3 years, they're gone. Some people, their career Their career anchor is stability. They don't want any change. Let me work for GABA 20 years. But you can then be building something else. So we all have a different career anchor, and it's important to be clear that. I see a question here by Oliver Agina, who wants to get the course here before he gets it. Agina, my friend, come for the course, and then I will give you the overview of, I don't know the best methodology. I have mine, okay? There's so much available these days on Google, LinkedIn, LinkedIn Share. There's so many courses you can do. Honestly, there are hundreds. So I don't know the best methodology. All I can tell you, there's mine. You register, we'll do mine. And expounding a little more on how to maximize personal branding on LinkedIn, again, Google it. There's so many people giving you very useful tips. And honestly, they're very simple, very nice. So I would say, do your work. Because a lot of times I find when I tell people something, they say, oh, how did you know? A lot of knowledge is free out there, so much so. It's just that what I've realized in life, and it's very interesting that I got to know it in my late 50s, early 60s, that there's a lot of information out there. Anything, how to make money, how to marry, how to go through divorce, how to change careers. There's so much information. What we just need is somebody to guide us, somebody to walk with us, someone to encourage us, someone to say you're on the right track. Because others would all be no less, would all be wonderful. But doing things alone is very hard. Am I doing the right thing? Did I get it? And I see another one. Oh, then I read another one that's good. Oh, I saw another video. So most of the time, what you need is a support system of friends, maybe career coaching or a program like this. And that's why there's still business for many of us, because we know what it is to take a group of people and guide them and show them, and then they'll get confident in what they have produced. Because otherwise we'll be left at home and we'll be doing it, and sometimes we get tired and put it away. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a question from Shay. Please talk a little bit more about personal one-on-one coaching structure, the duration and the sessions.
Okay, I have, if you wanted to be my coach, for me to be your coach away from this process, my email is going to be available at the end, and my details, and I can send you to be one of my people. And that is a fairly, I like to do 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, max 7 months. In coaching, we don't believe we should coach beyond a year, because by then coaching is result oriented. There's a goal you're trying to achieve, so it cannot be ever ending. And that's what I like to do. And we come up with a coaching brief. We agree what it is that you want to achieve. Could be 2, 3 things. And then we work every 2 weeks, because there's a lot of homework for you to do, to come back as we're moving. So that is every 2 weeks. And it can be 3 months if you want, 4, 5 months if you want, 7 months. And that I quote you. But on this program, I'm having a reduced rate. It's 15,000 to sit with me for an hour, and we will have a one-on-one coaching. And it will be an hour, and you can have as many sessions or as few sessions where you book it through this platform. The contact will be there, and then you can do that. Then I see somebody else saying, what is it they're saying, Vicky, about when you have unplanned exits, like you had to leave unexpectedly. Did I see something like that?
Yeah, e.g. a sack. Unplanned transitions, e.g.
Yeah.
a sack.
Yeah.
And then there's also another question on imposter syndrome and overcoming imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. Okay, Kanini, let me say this. There are always positions that you left that you're a little bit, you don't want to be asked too much about that. What we do is we help you market that and get over that uneasiness. I had somebody who was sacked actually from their previous job. Then they sued. And by the way, a few years later, they got their money. So the talent is, how do we write and craft your CV in a way that is not saying you didn't do this job, but in a way that promotes you in the best light? Let me say this. A CV is a marketing document. So you're marketing yourself. Look at a Mercedes. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's on the Autobahn, dual carriageway. It moves smoothly. Science. Luxury at its best. But does it perform on the roads off-road and in the national park? So they don't write, oh, this car is beautiful, but it doesn't off-road very well. It can break down. It's got a low bottom. They don't say that. They are marketing the Mercedes for what they think it can do. So it's the same with a CV. It's a marketing document. You present yourself in the best light. You don't say, oh, by the way, I got that. Oh, by the way, I don't do this so well, but this I do very well. It's a marketing document. Think about brands and how they sell themselves. They sell their best attributes because they are their best attributes. You don't have to talk about anything else, and we'll find a way where we can craft something that is good, that says there's a gap. And then when you go to the interview, we've already crafted a story that is ethical, that is correct, on how you will position what happened. So that we can do.
And to the question on imposter syndrome, what do you say? Overcoming imposter syndrome.
Oh, my dear, we all have it. I still have it. Oh, after this, I'll say, did I do well, Vicky? Did I connect? Oh, maybe they didn't. Was I too loud? Was I too fast? Listen, all we can do is work with you to build your confidence on who you are. And I think and I've seen this with, next week you start seeing testimonials for who've done this program. Once you start doing your accomplishments, and we use powerful action verbs, and we are able to make them smart, specific, measurable, realistic, time bound, then you start saying, oh my God, I'm wonderful. I did this in that job. I did this. A sense of who you are, because many times we do things and then we forget them. We move to the next thing, and you forget all the wonderful achievements, not the normal things of doing your job, the things over and above. You introduce a new system, you pass audit after people had failed, you introduce a new program, you initiated something, you increase sales beyond the target. Whatever it is you did, every job you've held, we should be able to craft at least minimum of 5. Sometimes we do far more of achievements we made. And that gives you a revamped look. A kind of, you're looking at yourself and saying, actually, no, I'm hot. Pretty good. And that's very important, where you can stand up for what you've done. But if you don't have documented your successes anywhere, then how do you know you're good? So that is one thing that I think for us as Africans, Vicky, I say this all the time. The white man is very good at positioning himself, very good at articulating, using powerful words. It's very small. They're able to give it some flowery words. But for us Africans, I don't know, it's our sense of modesty or our sense of not showing up because we live in a consensus society. We don't like to claim things. We like to say, oh, the team did it. Oh, my team, it's not me, it's my team. Excuse me, you're the team head, you did it. You led that team. You spearheaded that team. And that's what I'll try to get you to be comfortable about. And hopefully to go a little bit down that imposter. But let me tell you, I don't think you can get rid of it forever. Some days I wake up and say, I'm not good, I'm useless. It's just a bad day. Remember, in emotional intelligence, we say, you're not your thoughts. Just observe the thoughts coming and going. You are not your thoughts. You are more than your thoughts. Okay, Vicky?
You are not your thoughts, for sure, for sure. I guess you've already spoken to the next question, but I'll ask it anyway. When one suffers a series of unplanned transitions, so unplanned transitions can look like retrenchment, contract terminations, a series of them. How do they rise up, shake the dust, and restart to a successful rebrand?
Look at what you're good at.
Like
really look what you're good at, and really articulate what you're good at very well. And then start looking, really searching, because I actually believe people should do due diligence where to work at. Many of us rush into jobs which call us. And if you did your due diligence, you would never work for that organization because it's hopeless, it's terrible. And then 3 months later, you're dying and screaming, why am I there? So do your due diligence and say, where would these skills best position me to and for? And by the way, it's possible. With AI these days, it's very possible. Can I volunteer somewhere so I start learning this industry, and maybe through volunteering, I can get in? Can I do it part-time consulting? Can I don't know. Can I start writing about this subject on LinkedIn and go to give a talk about this issue? It's very hard for me to tell you directly, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Let me tell you, I've spoken to many, me included. Sometimes I quit my job at National Oil. I never knew where I was going. All I knew, I was not signing a second government contract. I just knew it. I did not want to go to jail like some of these PSs and others. And there was something I was being asked to do, and I just couldn't do it. And I'd done my best. And so at the very, very last minute, the last week of my contract going, and they had refused to send my new contract, and then they sent it at the end, and there was a lot of pressure on me. Literally, I ran away for a week to go to Mombasa for this Center for Corporate Governance training. And after 4 years, I had never gone. And that week I told my company secretary, send me, and I shut my phone. So people are looking for me everywhere. And they told me, Mary, how can you not call the so-and-so and the so-and-so they are calling you? And I came back and I said, I can't do this. And I quit without knowing where the hell I was going. I had a house in Runda, I had small kids. I just quit. And honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do. The funny thing is the universe speaks. Some people told me many years later that I knew too much. So I was offered a job at the campaign. There's a very terrible campaign. But I went into a political campaign. Luckily, it only lasted a few months. And UNEP called me because UNEP, I had been working with them in my job at Petroleum Institute and in my job at National Oil. So I used to volunteer. They used to tell me, Mary, we need a speaker. Mary, come and facilitate a minister's meeting. And I genuinely always gave my best. And I used to say, I'd love to work in this compound. It's beautiful. So they called me and I went for it and they gave me the job. So sometimes you just don't know where something will lead you. But I can tell you, even if I don't help you find it, there's something you can do. Maybe you can go and reskill yourself. This month, Vicky is running emotional intelligence certification. It's only $1,500. I say only, but believe me, coaching is $6,500 or $5,500. And it's such a beautiful course to take. And there's training material available on the Genos University platform. And you can start training. If you enjoy training and you enjoy helping people and helping people maximize their potential, that's something you can do. You can talk to Vicky's people and see if you have a good record. Maybe they'll let you pick Kidogo halfway and then Kidogo is not talking for you. But it's something you can do and become certified. What I've realized these days, certify. Google has a very nice data analytics, social media marketing. Look, Coursera, get yourself certified. All these skills. Look at me, I'm learning how to publish on Lulu. Now I want to learn another one called Circle 360 to produce more material. You have to keep sharpening yourself. You cannot sit and wait for things to come to you. Absolutely not.
I hear you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting the same results.
No.
We have another question. What timing do you envision the live sessions will be? I believe this is to the course that you'll be running.
The live sessions are 90 minutes, as I had said earlier.
At what time do you think you'll have them?
They're at 6 up to 7:30.
Okay.
But again, we'll learn from you. If you tell us nobody's available, we'll change them. But through many years of Vicky's, I got used to Zoom because of Vicky. During COVID, she got all the emotional intelligence practitioners, coaches, and put us together. And we started doing free webinars for East Africa. It was absolutely amazing. That's what got me out of my depression of COVID. And that's how I learned Zoom. And we actually, after many sessions, and Vicky is used to doing them now all the time, I think 6 o'clock is a good hour. 6:30, those two, either of those tend to be a very good hour. But because you don't want to finish too late, like 8 o'clock, if it's 90 minutes, it's better to start at 6. If it's 1 hour, then it's better to start at 6:30. By 7:30, you're finished. Let people have their private time with their children and their families.
Okay, we have another interesting question. So recently, a woman parliamentarian said that good girls do not get ahead in the corner office, I guess, and urged women to be bad girls. What is your opinion from your experience?
There are all these words that are thrown out and you don't really know what they mean. It's just one of those sentences, I don't think you have to be good or bad. You just have to understand what the world needs and what you need to move ahead. If you're emotionally intelligent, you know what you want. And you know that it's important to be self-aware and how you show up. You also understand about others. So because it's very contextual, how are you building relationships to move ahead? How are you ensuring that you get others' perspective? It's really what it is. There's no good girls or bad girls. There's no formula. How come some very good girls get ahead very well and some bad girls get nowhere? They're in jail or they are tarnished. So these are just words people like throwing at women. Let me tell you, women are very good managers. Women manage to maneuver life as a girl in a home. You maneuver school, you maneuver marriage and the in-laws, you bring up your children, you have your job. Actually, we understand all these nuances. So these are things that are thrown. I don't know if Vicky, would you call them idioms? If I were to ask that person, what does bad girl mean? Is it being assertive? I don't know. You can be assertive, but in a very quiet way. And you set boundaries and you say, excuse me, I did not feel respected the way you spoke to me. Could we have a discussion about this? I'm not being, it's like you don't respect me, but you're being assertive in a very calm, logical, and quiet way, and people will respect you. So to me, bad girls, good girls. By the way, that thing of good girls don't get the corner office, I have it. I train it for another program at FKE. And what we really try and teach women is don't make yourself a mat. We really say, don't be a mat. Be firm, be clear, be intentional, but be respectful, because you understand the dynamics are different for women and the dynamics are different for men. It's a man's world, so you need to be clear how you're maneuvering that world.
Okay, actually, I was going to respond with something that you once shared with me a long time ago.
Yeah,
actually, there are two things, actually. The first one was when we were at the female future class, and everyone was talking about, oh, I'm the only lady in this board, and they expect me to serve tea. And we were on and on about how disrespected we felt. And then you went ahead and did something a bit more what would you call it, controversial, and said you would actually serve the tea, and and you would make it a point of talking about the tea, and that gave me great perspective, because it made me understand that sometimes you win in certain areas not because of how much you're trying to assert yourself and put your power, but you already have the technical authority, you already have possibly the brand authority, and whoever's asking you, of course, depends on how they ask, but it gave me different perspective. And I think that's how I look at sometimes conversations now. And then the second point is having an abrasive encounter. It doesn't matter in the work environment. You taught me about this thing of rehearsing your responses and your answers way before, so that by the time you're entering that situation, you know exactly what you want. So you keep repeating it over and over. When they deviate from you, say, no, but this is what I want. So I think those are good tips in terms of, for me, I have found very useful in sometimes you're in a place where you can't raise your voice, but you can quietly have rehearsed how you're going to keep saying, no, that's not what I want. This is what I want. Then they say, yeah. So those are two tips I learned from Mary that have worked. I don't know what you think, but we have someone asking, how do you deal with being passed over or seemingly excluded from conversations and tasks? So we have about 5 more minutes, so we can have maybe your last questions before we move forward. There's a lady asking, how do you deal with being passed over or seemingly being excluded from conversations or tasks?
Yeah, Edith, I'm sorry that's happening to you. I really do feel you, and that's not a good thing. Let me use learnings that I learned in the last 2 years since I started doing this international program with the UN. They're doing it for all the senior middle management because they want to change the culture in this organization. And we are actually, it's all about emotional intelligence, and then we're giving tips on leadership and what you can do. But there's one thing I'm not very good at, but I think I'm going to have to improve, and I've tried a few times, is that you need to have the difficult conversations. Ignoring things doesn't help. And I know that it's our Kenyan thing not to be passive aggressive. You don't like something, but you're being passive aggressive. I never called for meetings. You have to take the bull by the horn politely and go to the person or go to the head and say, excuse me, Mr. Song, can I have 5-10 minutes with you next Tuesday or whenever you're free? Look for a time that they are free also. Don't just budge. And just say you'd like a conversation. And this way we say you start with I statements. I feel disrespected. I feel undervalued. I feel whatever it is you feel when I'm overlooked and passed over and not called into meetings. I believe I have something important to contribute. And I'm wondering, why I'm not able to participate. And believe me, sometimes some people are so crazy, they just didn't even think about it. Or the fact that you ask, they say, no, this girl is really, this woman is asserting and wanting her point. So having those difficult conversations is part of leadership courage. You cannot say, oh, my sister-in-law did this, but I never approach her. I just keep on saying, First of all, Christmas, she didn't bring any food. She brought so many kids and she didn't bring any provisions. Ask and tell her, hey, by the way, during Christmas, you came with so many children, but you didn't bring any provisions. I felt that it was a bit disrespectful because I didn't have enough food, and I felt that, just say I felt. And do you know what that does? It clears the air. So much we have bad relationships because we don't want to clear the air. Those things, conflict is good, it's productive, because you have a different view and I have a different view, but I don't know unless you voice it. It is how we do it that gives us a lot of heartache. How do I approach Vicky? Oh, she'll think I don't like her. Oh, she'll think, and you know what? That feeling destroys the relationship with Vicky even more. Right now, you're thinking about it, you put it here in the post. So it is eating at you. Even in the office tomorrow, you see that person, it's eating at you. Go and speak to that person and say, I've been puzzled. I've watched several meetings and I'm concerned why I'm not involved. I feel disrespected. I feel like I'm not part of the team. I feel I have something to contribute. And statements. And believe me, you'll be surprised. But it takes that courage and you will get such beautiful results. So that's what I have to say to that. 2 minutes over to you to close, Vicky.
Thank you. We have a comment here asking whether the tea was served in government offices.
Yes, it was.
Yes, she says, I'm in a heavily male-skewed space and that's never happened. Okay.
Oh, I served tea. And let me just explain very quickly. As you can see, Mary is very talkative. Mary is very strong. I am a green. I'm a green DI influence. Most of you must do the DISC personality. And I'm very knowledgeable in the oil sector. At that, I was in. So when I was called to turn around the national oil, I really had most of the knowledge. The board was headed by somebody who didn't speak very good English, old gentleman, very respected in Kenya, but had no idea of oil, didn't want to know. His statement used to be written for him by the company secretary. He would say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 25th meeting. And then that's it, you said, empty takeover. The other directors, they were political appointees. One was somewhere Massa Beach, didn't know a lot of English as well. Another one was from, I think, museums. Another one was from somewhere else. So there were very few who really understood the oil world. There were two who were very good from Eggshell and ex-Caltex. And then there was somebody from Treasury who was good. The one from the ministry didn't say much. So everything, as we were turning around, it was Mary's influence. Mary who wants to know. And I realized that I needed to soften these gentlemen and get them to accept me without being too much Keno. This lady knows everything. And so the way I chose to be able to show them respect is, number one, I called everybody sir, including a PS we never got along with. He didn't like me, I didn't like him, but we worked very well together because he's brilliant. So I called everybody sir, Mr. Director. I said, John, I said, no. And a friend had advised me, make sure you show this man respect. They don't like women who are too much no. And then I would put tea. As soon as I noticed that tea's over, because I had a trolley, I brought a trolley with flasks. I would say, director, your teacup is empty. Let me put, I said, it's my job to look after you, my director. And those directors knew I respected them, even if I was knowledgeable. It was my way to attain my goal because I did respect them, but which way could I show them? I took them for trips outside the country to understand oil industry because I knew they needed knowledge building, but I said, I'm not going to let my ego, actually I can't put tea because I'm a woman. I'll put, but had I been somewhere where people are saying, Mary, you're the woman, put tea. I would never put tea. Why? Why should I put tea? And I've said, even me, I need to be served. So it's true. What do you want to achieve? That's what's important.
Thank you so much, Mary, for those many little knickknacks, and just speaking as yourself, I think has been the best way that you have been able to deliver this conversation. I mean, it's been very interesting. I've actually thought about that one reason why we don't achieve a lot of things in life, not just career. And for me, the one is we don't ask. At least for me, I think that's the biggest one. We don't ask. So I think we have this feeling that if you do enough, someone should recognize and reward you for what is due, to Caesar, what is due. So I know that maybe asking is not part of the norm, and maybe that's how those are some of the things we are told we have to recognize, that you have to ask. And I remember you are telling us, what's your one ask? Everywhere you go, what's your one ask? What do you want? And I think that's very, very powerful. Thank you so much for the 60 minutes that we have managed to listen to you, and even going a bit overboard, for sharing your wisdom. And for everyone on this call, there will be an email coming to you giving you all the details for registering into the new course for executive repositioning. For anyone who has attended Mary's executive repositioning, you will never, ever regret it. It is such an eye-opening experience. Rewarding your accomplishments, leading with accomplishments, beating imposter syndrome, because you can actually see your accomplishments. They're not just somewhere arbitrarily. Having a beautiful CV that you're proud of. You actually look at it and you say, damn, Yeah. And not only that CV, having the brand that then supports it is something that every one of us, whether you're a consultant, whether you're a coach, whether you're chasing a different career path, whatever it is, teacher, you name it, we need to be more intentional about the spaces we want to occupy. And it starts with us having that intentional reflection, and then being able to craft our own narrative, our own stories, speak and market ourselves to the world ethically. And I'm sure after that, then the sky is the limit, as can be attested by very many of Mary's mentees. So thank you very much. Let me call it an evening and say thank you so much. God bless you all and have a wonderful evening. And we will see you at the next webinar. Thank you. Kwaheri.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Vicky.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm
Thank
enjoying
you, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Mary. Thank you,
much.
Vicky.
Thank you so very much, Mary and Vicky.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Thank you, Vicky.